Hi all. The lesson is Android Developer Docs and API, which is a very important lesson for you to understand how you should use this developer docs and API when you do Android programming, right? So if you want to become an excellent practical mobile application developer, it's very important to understand this. So tools used we'll be using Android Studio version 4.0.1 for practicals and Android Developer Docs and API for referencing. Prerequisite, you have to have some knowledge in Java programming, right? And you can find the link to Java programming lessons in the description below this video. In this lesson you will learn about Android Developer Docs and Android API referencing, right? Lesson plan is going to be practical demonstrations. Okay, so what you have to do is if you Google search for Android Developer Docs, right, you will be getting that link. So if you open it, so this is the official developer documentation for Android developers, right? So when you look at this, it's a very valuable resource for you to look into. So it has very different sections for different Android devices, such as Wear OS for Android TV, for Android Auto. So if you want to do programming with say related to auto cars and stuff like that, right? Android things for embedded stuff, right? So this is for wearable stuff. This is for Android TV. For this is for cars. For example, if you open Android Auto, I'm just giving an example, right? So if you look at it, it will talk building your app to vehicles running, right? Android Auto, right? So it's a very important. So this is about wearable. This is Android things. So if you open about Android things, it's about embedded development, such as you can program for Raspberry platforms using Android, right? So the hardware, it says let me increase the font. So hardware, it says Android things enable you to build apps on top of popular hardware platforms such as Raspberry Pi, right? So which means this is about embedded development. So now you can see that Android programming is not just for mobile phones, right? You can start with developing Android apps for mobile phones, but then you can take it to a further step where you can program these different devices, right? Something very important if you are interested to become a fully comprehensive full stack Android developer, right? Okay, awesome. And then it talks about best practices and stuff like that, right? And if you further go down, there are core developer topics where you can talk about various stuff. Let's see a few things. So we'll be doing each of these in future, right? You will see some lectures in future about. We'll show you how to use this Wear OS, Android Auto, and Android things, right? And then also about core developer topics, camera. If I say a few things, sensors and audio and video. If I open a few, so it talks about how to use full access to the device camera, and it has some documentation about that. Then if you look about sensors, it talks about how to use the sensors in the device, such as GPS, accelerometer, gyroscope, temperature sensors, the barometers, how to use, how to program the motion sensors, so you can have a look at this document and get all that valuable information, which we will be doing in future, right? So for example, if I click on motion sensors, then you will get more about how to use these motion sensors, and what events are there. So this is a very comprehensive document, right? And then if I click on say audio and video, you can get more information about how to program the audio and video in the device, playing, recording media. So you can, once again, you can click on these different sections, let us say about media player overview, and then you can read more about how to use the media player and stuff like that, right? What are the classes available, how to set the permissions, stuff like that. So we'll be doing that in future lessons, right? So hope so until we do that, just wait, right? Because we have to take you to that level step by step, right? So also you got the Android NDK, means native development kit. If you want to do further embedded, further kind of deep customizations, where you can use the Android native development kit, where you can write programs from different other languages like C++ and integrate it with Android and stuff like that. And Google Play Console, Google Play services, likewise, lots of lots of other areas. So this document developer doc is the core for that, right, where the entry point for all that, right? But when you are starting with Android, you will not touch these Android devices, or you will probably not go for best practices at the moment, or not for audio video at once, not for sensors, right? Not for Google Play Console. So what you have to do when you are starting with Android is this one, get started over here, build your first app, right? So that is, so if I click on that, you will see on that is the starting point for you, right? Building your first app, right? So we'll be taking you step by step on that. And then in that section it talks about creating an Android project, how to run your app, how to build your first interface, and how to start multiple. So if I click one by one, so creating an Android project talks you and shows you how to create an Android project. Then running your app, it shows you how you can run the app, right? How to use these emulators, right? And building a simple user interface, if you click on that, it talks you how to create a simple user interface like a mobile application, right? And it talks about various components. And then starting another activity, right? How do you call from one screen to another screen? That's you call as starting another activity. And in all these pages in this document and Android developer docs, you got two options, either to program using Kotlin or to program using Java, right? So Kotlin is a language where you can write, say you can use to program Android, and then Java, right? So in this lecture series, we'll be programming using Java, right? Not using Kotlin, right? So, but you have examples for both, right? So we'll be using Java when it comes to programming this. Now, let's look. So in this lecture series, we will teach you about each of these steps practically, right? So that once you look at this practical lecture series, once you look at what we are teaching to you, then you can come and have a look at these links to get extra information, and in future this will be like your referencing point, right? Awesome. And then looking further into other stuff, then you can see, okay, that was building your first step. Then you can see sample code, right? So if you click on sample code, you will see lots of sample code for various tasks, right? Such as for the watch face, for Firebase, if you are programming with Firebase. So that is where this sample code helps you to look at some of the sample code. For example, if you say Firebase quick start for Android, then you can click on it, then you can get lots of sample coding about how to deal with Firebase database, how to deal with Firestore, how to use this say functions, how to deal with ML kit, likewise. So these are, so that this we will be using in future, right? But to start with, we'll be starting with build your first app, right? But I'm showing all this to you so that you get a comprehensive clear idea, of what things are available for you to use in future, right? Then API reference, this is a very important thing for you, right? So when you click on API referencing, you will be taken to the API reference, right? And what is API reference? So it's very important for you to understand that API stands for application programmer interface, right? So API is application programmer interface. So what is a API? It contains all the classes of Android, because now if you are programming in Android, you need to know what are the classes, right? Standard class, and then you need to know what are the attributes inside the class, what are the functions inside the class. Okay, are the functions private, are the functions public? Okay, what are the parameters for the functions? Okay, what are the names, because it's case sensitive? All that information is in the Android API. Now I will show you how to use the API, right? So once you are in the API, you can say this is the overview. Then you can click on Android platform. You can select the variable library. You can see the API, the classes for Android things, likewise. But to start with, you will look at Android platform. So when you click at Android platform, then it will load that page. Then it loads the packages for the Android platform, and then from this you can select the API level, right? So because the device you are using supports a certain API level, right? So there are lots of Android devices. So there can be a device supporting only API level 25. So if you are writing a program for that device, then you will have to click API level 25 from this, right? If there's a device you are programming supports API level 30, you can select it, because depending on the API level, the classes and the packages, what are the available class and the packages are changing, right? So and then this is the package index. Then you can go and select the class index, right? So if I click on class index, it shows you, loads you all the classes. It shows you all the classes in the Android API, right? And then if you scroll down and select packages, right? So if I scroll down and select Android package, for example, let us say if I scroll down and select Android widget, for example, then you can see, okay, what are the interfaces in that package, what are the exceptions, what are the classes. I'm taking Android widget for a reason, because you all know when you develop app you need buttons, text boxes, labels, right? So they all are in the Android widget package. For example, if I see, you can see a button, checkbox and stuff like that, the date picker and stuff like that, edit text. So if I open those one by one by clicking, so then you can see, okay, when you click on the button class, you can see, okay, so it's a class, okay, and it's, you can see the inheritance hierarchy for this Android button class, right? Then you can see how to insert a button into an Android screen, likewise, and then how to write event handling for a button. Likewise, you can find a lot of information in the API. Then you can find from here, if you look at where I move the mouse, you can see what are the constructors, for the button by clicking. So now okay, these are the constructors for the button. Then by clicking public methods, you can see, okay, what are the methods available in the button class, right? You can see there are lots of public methods, right, and the public constructors, right? So what are the methods, what are the constructors? So for example, if you look at certain constructors, you can see in some constructors there's one parameter, in some there are two parameters, likewise, right? So then public methods, for example, you can see, for example, there's a method and what are the parameters, what it returns, right? So you can see this method has two parameters and returns this. Likewise, it explains what are the parameters. So keep in mind, it's very important for you to understand this API, right? And then it will tell you for this button class what are the, so similar to that, it talks, you can look at checkbox class, whatever the class you are programming, right? And you can see the Kotlin version and the Java version of it. As I said, in this series we'll be using the Java version, right? So edit text, that is a text box, right? So the text box class. So in this lecture series, we will show you how to use this API and how to do practically how to program Android mobile apps, right? So that you will see in the next lesson. But the lesson, this current lesson is for you to give a clear idea of what this developer, Android developer docs, and what the API, and you have got a really good idea by now about this, right? So that is the API, very important, right? And then coming back to the developer docs, you have design guidelines and stuff like that, and different training courses, etc. So the summary of this lesson is this API documentation and the developer documentation and API has lots of information. So the plan in this lecture series is we'll be continuously referring to this developer docs and we will be showing you how to use this developer docs and the API and how to build your Android apps. And when you are programming, how to use this developer docs and the API to find more information, right? So that is what we'll be doing moving forward, right? So it's a very important lesson to keep in mind about using Android developer docs. Okay, friends, so that's okay, let's look at this. Okay, everyone, so you saw the conclusion is you got a clear idea about Android developer docs and how, what is inside that, and that we are going to use it for future lectures in this series, and about Android API referencing. And once again, API referencing is referencing contains all the classes, so you can find what are the constructors, what are the parameters, what are the what is inherited, the inheritance hierarchy, and etc., right? So reference was Android developer docs and the API, right? And so very important. What's next? So have a look at our other videos for practicals on Android application development, right? Which is what we are going to do next, right? So we are very excited to show you how to develop your first practical Android app. So let's catch you in the next lesson to show you how to develop your first Android app. See you until then.